very good, very good experience. Maybe I can show this. I'm not saying all as a CV of Pak Charles. You can see by yourself, maybe, yeah. As he is graduate from Kensington University for the PhD, and Kensington University too for the master, and Miami University for the undergraduate, and so many non-formal education that Charles ever take, and some achievement. Yeah, you can see in here. I don't know, maybe it will take time if I read it one by one. What about we discuss directly with Pak Charles? What do you think?
Yes.
Okay, this is time, and use this time, yeah, because that's not really useful. We have this type of person, okay? Take the opportunity, yeah, and then Pak Charles has a big network. What about if you use it too? Okay, and keep your question because we will have a question and answer after this. Okay, okay. Without further ado, I invite Pak Charles. Please, Pak. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon to all of you. And hopefully today I can give a little bit of sharing ideas with you. But before that, of course, I thank you so much to Neta. Who has given me the opportunity to be here. And within these 2 hours, I think you might even ask or you might even listen what was going on. Perhaps you want to know what is all about, call it like entrepreneurship. In this case, of course, I like to discuss about the business process. Before starting that, I would like a little bit of maybe a small story in regards to what is going on in this world. That's the most important. When you study, at least you know what's going on. Because without knowing what is going on, there's no point to that. So I like to have a little bit of a story, what it is being discussed in Switzerland. You know where Switzerland is? So it's a country that is discussing about the future of the country, of all in the world's countries. To begin with, maybe we start there. He's the guy from Boston Consulting Group.
Here in Davos, Switzerland, alongside thousands of leaders from the 2023 World Economic Forum. There are 4 teams which embedding sustainability into the core of every business is necessary, but it is also a source of competitive advantage, generating new revenue streams, lowering costs, attracting talent, and reducing regulatory risk. And lastly, talent. Focusing on people remains priority number 1. It's top of mind for CEOs to manage talent, to close skill gaps, and to win the heart and mind of their team.
So there are 4 things. One is a resilient. That means in Bahasa we call it ulet. What is ulet mean? When we talk about ulet, that means you have done some kind of mistakes. You've done a lot of what we have done so far in your experience. When we talk about resilience, that means you do something, you fail something. But to become a good entrepreneur, you must have failures. your life. That's number one. That's why he's talking about with the uncertainty of this world, you don't know what's going on in the coming years. That's why we need to know what to expect. That's why we need what we call keulatan. This is number one. Number two, the guy said, there's a called artificial intelligence, AI, and digital. That means, with now what's going on, the future depends on the AI. That means everything to do with the efficiency, the effectiveness of the program must go through the AI. So new digital. We call it the digital year nowadays. So before we begin what we call the business, I would say like the business process, you must also know what's going on with the AI. That's what the guy says. Number three, he says that sustainability, we call it like, this is not to do with how to survive, but what to expect in the coming years. If you know what's going on, that will happen in the coming years, then you are ready to prepare for that. Sustainability, that means the survival of the person, of the company, or what's going on. So a company which maybe is a big company today doesn't mean that they might survive in the coming years because there are so many uncertainties. That's why we got to have a strong sustainability, the survival. In order to have survival, you don't have to make profits, because profit is part of it. It's the means, not the end. When we talk about profit, it's not the end. It's the means to survive. The big companies never think too much about the profits. What they mean is that they want to know the effect of the environment, the effect of the social livings, the effect of the cultures. And that's why we are talking about the sustainability. Number four, we talk about the talent. What talents are about? It's the person, the individual, what you do, because people change. Today you are here to learn something. Doesn't mean that you do not learn after you finish your graduate. Learning never stops. It's the creativity of a person. So when we come down to the business process, what is actually business process? What is the meaning of this process? It's to create the value added for the customers. When customers need something, want to buy something, they got to what we call the added value. They got to make a lot of things to make them happy. That's why when you do anything, the most important is how to create the needs, how to make the customers happy. It's number one. Anything you do, either you do what we call like a hospital, maybe you open like a small retails, whatever you do, the most important, how to make the customer satisfied. In order to do that, you must do the business process. And there are so many things going on in the business process. So number one, I like to discuss. First is the process of the definition. It's to do with people, to do with the customers. You look at it first. A service integrator steps aside to each stakeholder. That means you are the stakeholder, the customer is the stakeholder, the manufacturer is stakeholders for that specific and repetitive work. That means the business process goes all the way, the same thing. It looks every day the same. When I do make cakes, for example, the business process will be the same every time. The manufacturing will be the same every time. But they do change according to the customer needs. Maybe they want the color, they want to have a special color, maybe they want to have a little bit of taste. So they keep changing, but the repetition is there. So when you talk about business process, it's a repetitive. Always to be repeated every time you do. Either it is a manufacturing, either it's a marketing, either it's a sales, everything is to be repeated. Everything is number one. Then second, the function. Before we talk about the function, I'd like to know first. You talk about what is the function. Actually, there are three things, you know. One to do with what we call it the managers. When you do the business process, the function always deal with what we call the manager. Why? Because he does. That means he has to know what is the business process. Number two, helping the customer. That means that you got to make the customer happy. If the color is green, it got to be green. The color yellow, it got to be yellow. That means not only the manager do the things, but the customer needs to be satisfied. Of course, number three is a company. Because whenever you do, the scope as a manager is within the company. You can be a manager, but if you work in the system, that means the company itself has to be made with a business process. And second, what is the benefit? Of course, what's the point? If you do the repetition works, you do the same every day, what's the benefit? The benefit is number one is to achieve the goal. What is the goal? Is to make the customer happy. Is to make the needs to be standardized every time you do the same and the same and the same. If you buy maybe noodle, if the color changes, you may be surprised. Why the color change? Why is not the same? Because they are doing the business process. So the standard must be the same. Because we call it the quality must be the same. Number two is supposed to be efficient. When you do the same thing, if you learn about the we call the learning curve, the more you learn, the more you do, the more efficient it is. Is that right? Whenever you do anything, if you do it every day, every hour, then you got to be expertise in that system. Then you know what's going on. And that's why be efficient if you have a business process. Number three, of course you make failures. But the more you do it, the more you do the same thing every day, the less failures you make. That's why we need the business process. Number four, focus. What you do is what you do. What you live is what you live. If you do it every single day, the same day all the time, and you focus on that, you become expertise. Now I'm dealing with Jamu, for example. I know what's going on because the rest of my life do Jamu. I do maybe chemistry, then I'll do my expertise become the chemist. More adaptable. But just when you go to do a lot of things, you focus on that. You're adapted with what's going on. You know the surrounding. You know the system. You know the color. Even you close your eyes, you can do a lot of things, similar things, every day the same thing. That's why that is the benefit of these processes. Increase productivity, that's the learning curve. Some people say, if the cost to make that goods 5 cents, maybe per unit. But if you do it every day, you become an expertise, it becomes maybe 2 cents, become 1 cent, because you know how to do it. You become faster because you do it the same and the same and the same again. Lastly is, of course, the human errors will be less and less and less because you become expertise, you know what's going on, you know we call the SOP, the standard of procedure. That will come later on. But at least if you do it the same and the same, then you become much more easy not to make failures. Thank you. Type of business process. Anything you do, the yellow one is the one you got to know. That is the key. Anything you do, there will be 2 primary process and secondary process. But anything you do, there are 3 things you got to know. The management process, the operational process, and the support process. These 3 things is within anything you do with this process. It is a manufacturing, it is a marketing, Operational for sales, everything you do, everything is within this. Must have a management process, must have operational process, and must have support process. Then we'll discuss it later on anyway. But the other thing, the key, what we call the big picture, is the primary process and the secondary process. Okay, we go to the business type process, yeah. So anything, when you talk about the main process, there are three things. One is the production. When you do the business plan, production is number one. That to be related to marketing, when of course the rest is a service. It's not double service, service. Yeah? Services, that means after sales, you do the same thing again and again and again. So that is the main process. The other one, we call it the support process, is just the added value. Like for example, I would say like the people, the administration, maybe what we call the accounting system, that we call the support process. But the main thing, in order to have all the same things all the time, it has to have a three: production, marketing, and services. Anything you do. What happens when you talk about maybe doing like a selling, for example, Indomie or Superme? The same thing. They got production, they got marketing, and they got what we call services. That means after sales. Okay, next step. Management process. This is the management is the we call the control system. When you do management, why do you do the management? Because it has to be called the control system. Because when you do you manage things, that means you control. I don't know whether you learn about what is the function of management. But most people, when they know about the function of management, one thing is control. That means it goes to what we call bureaucracy. The more control is better, or the less control is better. Then there will be a discussion just for another. Management is to do with the control. Anything you talk, management is control. It's very important to that because the key function of management is control. You can see a lot of things what we call like planning or implementation, but the key function of management is control. Once you have good control, that means you have good management. One. Number two, operational process. It means a process of core values. Because when you do the manufacturing, if I take, for example, if I buy maybe Indo food or the market, or maybe this is noodles here. But why every noodle got every company's got a different kind of quality? Is it the different process or what? That is to do with the operational process. Because the operational process will be the one that will take the whole management process into it. So when you talk operational, that means the one that do it, the one that implement. Management is the system. But we talk operational is the implementation. When you implement, that means you do what we call the real thing. What's going on? Management is just a system. But when it begins to operate, that becomes the operational system. See, this is different thing, right? Management is what we call the system. But operational is the one that they do the whole thing, they control the whole thing through the management process. Operational is the implementation of the words. And of course, the rest, support process is the one, of course, when you talk about accounting, administration, human resources, everything, that is what we call the support process. But the system itself comes from the management, and also the second one is the operational process. Okay. Everything you do, they got an aspect. When you talk about marketing, production, and sales, they are different things. But they got the same system of business process. Those three are interrelated. So if I talk with the finance department, for example, and marketing department, they have their own business process, but they are interrelated. So that they got to communicate each other. And that is another business plan. So if you talk about marketing, they have their own business process. You talk of finance, they got a business process. But when they talk together, they become interrelated. It must be communicated each other. Otherwise, it will not work as the business process. So the bigger picture, it has to be together, interrelated, if you want to work effectively. So sometimes if I work as a marketing manager, talking with the finance manager, always a big discussion. Sometimes it's not interrelated. Why? Because marketing concept is how to make the customers happy. The finance department say, I want to make my profit better. The production say, I want to work effectively for the production. So if they're not interrelated, then what's going on? You can see every company always have problems in terms of the business plan within their own organization because they're not interrelated. Actually, they're supposed to be. So if I work as a financing, I always think profit, profit, profit. If I work as a marketing man, I always think how to create market, how to increase my sales. I don't care about the profit or loss. As long as I got more customer, I'm very happy. So the production say, look, you don't ask me to work harder. I just work as it is Monday to Friday. I don't want to work Saturday and Sunday because they want to do it very effectively Monday to Friday. They don't care about the marketing. They don't care about the financing. So three departments, three organizations will be much different. Will be not so easily to adapt because they have their own objectives. And if the objective is for the customer, they should be interrelated. If not, they think of themselves. That's why it happens everywhere you went. Everywhere you work, you go, you always have problem with that. Why? Because the idea, once you are in the finance department, you always think how to create profit. You talk marketing, how to create more customers. I don't care about the money. I don't care how much I spend the money. But as long as I got more customer, that means that is my achievement. The production say, no way. I want to keep my production day to day, make Monday to Friday, work effectively, but only for the production facility. So three things have to be interrelated if you want to do effectively as a business plan. Number two, across the organization. So this is the same thing. The interlocking activity and the business organization is the same thing. Because why? When we talk about marketing, it's a small organization. We talk production, small organization. So they are all fighting each other. This is the reality in every business aspect. So that's why we make a business plan. Very important. The business process is very important too because they are interrelated. If not, they do themselves. Then they do not create the meaning of how to create customer needs. That's very important because when you talk about the whole picture, the most important in life, that has to be interrelated and have to respect each other. You have to understand each other. So this is the thing. But in reality, it always has problems. So, for example, my company, for example, if the chairman is from the finance department, will be different when the chairman is coming from the marketing department. Will be different from the production department. If my CEO is from the production, they can say how to produce effectively. So the idea of customer needs will be a little bit far away. So who will be the best in terms of taking care as a big organization? The one who knows how to integrate between the marketing, the production, and of course, the other one is the what we call not only marketing, production, but also the finance department too. Number three, why do we need predetermined? That means before. So when you do something, you must have expectation, right or not? You got to have expectation. What to get? So if three departments, they do not want to have expectation, they will not become a good company. So in the business process, you must think how to relate to each other, but what is the expectation? It's very important. We call predetermined. What is the need to get out, to get the result? That will be known by each department. First, the last one, of course, everything to do with the customer needs. So when we talk about business process, everything to do with what? Profit. Profit is the most important. So when you talk with the big guy, the big stakeholders, they keep saying, what is the profit? The profit doesn't mean it's money. The profit could be what we call investment. There's so many things in profit, right? Because return on investment, return on asset. So what do we need? Which one is more important? The real profit, or the cash flow, positive cash flow, or the return on investment? I don't know. Have you ever learned about the finance? Is it more important between profit and return on investment? ROI is also profit. ROI is also profit. The profit from the book also profit. So which profit are you looking at? There will be another thing. That's why I'm not talking about directly what is going on, but at least you should know. Profit doesn't mean the real profit plus what I sell, what I buy. No. The profit can be the other way. How much investment I put into it. How much asset I can put in. There are so many profits in every company. But the real objective, of course, return on investment. Not the profit today. It's different from the ROI. Okay, next. This is just a basic first to begin. I will take this about the reality. Okay, there. Actually, this one is supposed to be the first, but I will talk it why I put it at the last. When we talk about stages of business process, of course, to begin with, to start with, but this is the reality, is what we call the continuous system. But number one is the analyzing business activity. You got to analyze what you want to do. Just now, I was asked by people you that you are worried what to do with it. Where should I start? How to begin? Anything to do with entrepreneurship, one thing. You get confused where to start, how to begin, where's the money, how's the capital. So many things involved. What's number one? Analyzing business activity. That means you got to do the research the customer needs. So number one, if you want to do business, any business, you must do a little bit of research. What do they want? Not what you want. I have money, Pak Charles. So today I want to make money. So what I think is best, well, I sell coffee. Yeah, you sell coffee. And what is selling coffee too? How to create the money? How to create the customers? That's the most important in life. Before you do something, you got to analyze the customer. You cannot make a business plan or business katakan semua yang namanya itu whole business. You got to think, what do they want actually in life? How to create the needs? How to create the needs? You got to do research. What color do they want? So, for example, you want to sell that color. There's a good story in Thailand. You know, one thing it happens, I don't know whether you learn about advertising. One day I saw one good advertisement selling how to create more people to go to buy gas for car. They put tiger. The tiger goes in, that means to make the energy stronger. But there's a big failure in marketing in Thailand. You put tiger inside because for them tiger is a different kind of an animal. They have to be respected. So they don't want to buy it. Yes, because there's a tiger. Unusual. Then you learn the culture. You want to try something, for example, in Jakarta. Maybe you can say anything. But you go to Bali, for example, there's a different culture. The creation is different. The value is different. The style of living is different. So you got to learn what we call the needs of the customer. That means you got to learn the culture. You got to learn how people want it. Then you think, can we do it or not? So to analyze business activity, that means you analyze the need of the people. What they want to buy, what they want to sell, you know. Number two is defining the process. Defining, if you go to, for example, you open a restaurant, for example, you got to learn how to buy the meats. From the meats, what quality is it? So if you do not know what's going on, it's hard for them. Of course not. So people want to do something new if they know what's going on. If you totally do not know, you do not know anything, do not get involved. Because you do not know. What you know, you go deeper. But what you do not know, don't try to be involved. For example, I know nothing about how to make, I would say like maybe project for uranium, for example, nickel. Hey, Pak Charles, there's a good company for nickel. Do you want to join or not? You want to open? I know nothing about nickel. Just forget it. There's a good profit. So what? In life, everything is yourself. You got to focus on it. That's why number two, define the process. You got to know what is going on. If you do not know, don't try to be involved. Because then it will be very hard to make the business process. That's number two. Number three, implementation. If you do not have any experience, how would you do it? That means you do try and error. If you do try and error, that means you make a lot of mistakes. That means you got to find someone, a senior one, to teach you. Teaching may be different. Like today, what you learn now is a knowledge, right? You learn, you graduate, you got a diploma. What do you get? Only diploma, right? You learn the knowledge. You learn the skills? No. You learn the skills? No. Because you know nothing about it. In practical approach, there are so many mistakes you can make from your theory. What you learn today is what they have learned in the past, right? If the lecturer gives you a speech, book to teach, to learn, what have you learned? The past, not the future. Today, why I show you why people go to Davos, one night $6,000 just to stay in a room. 6,000 US itu berapa? Harga 15.000. 10 million a night just for to sleep. Because they want to learn what is the expectation in the coming years. And those guys who come are not, we call the cheap people. They are all professional, what we call a very branded people, but they want to learn what is the expectation. They do not want to make any mistakes. So what today you are learning is what they have learned already in the past. So in order to make what's happening for tomorrow, it's pretty hard. Because like you walk to the bed, right? You don't know what's going on. Because you learn from the past, you expect to know what's happening in the future. When you make mistakes, definitely you make more mistakes. So is it important or not? To get your master, to get your PhD, it's important. Important to learn someone's mistakes, but do not make any mistake. But are they the same thing? Are they going the same step? Nobody knows. That's why you got to learn a lot after this, perhaps. When you finish your graduate, you go to seminars to learn what to expect, learn what the customer needs. That might change, especially with the AI, artificial intelligence. Everything is standardized, everything. For example, I have maybe 10 salesmen. Every salesman got a lot of places to move around. They know the places, they know the outlets. Then they say to me, Pak Charles, if you want to take me out, I do not give you my data. Why? Because my data is on me. You do not know. where my retail outlets, then you got to find yourself. That was 10 years ago. I begged him not to go, not to leave. Why? Because when they leave, I lost my customer. But nowadays, you open Google straight away, Bogor, Cianjur, opening, supermarket, they come coming. How wonderful the data is. You don't need two salesmen. You can just look at them. You go straight to the people. That is the people, the retail outlets. How wonderful they are. Data, AI. With all the technological development nowadays, more people know what's going on. You don't have to go. You look at it. By the data, you can see everything. So the business process today is a different thing from the business process of 10 years ago. That means they keep changing. That's why I said the implementation will be different. The way I do it, I don't need too many salesmen, just by calling them. That's it. You can imagine that if you were to be a salesman in a big company, how they control you? Through the navigation of the satellite. So every person got a phone, and the phone is being monitored with the biggest satellite. They know how many minutes you go to the office, how many minutes you go to retail outlets. That never happened then. But nowadays, I can check every time you go, every person. So when they order, they just look at it, they push the data, they got the number, the quantity. The next day, the guy come, bring the things. 10 years ago, come, ask, can you buy for me? Please. And you don't know how many minutes. And the boss doesn't know, so he can come out and drink coffee, relax first, and then report to the guy. Wow, it's difficult, boss. That was hard. Actually, he went to the coffee shop, drink coffee first. Because nobody can look for it. Now, I can look where the guy goes. How many minutes you are in the office? I can check that through the navigation. How wonderful it is. You are being investigated, being look at it every time you do. That's how beautiful now it is. And then number final, of course, evaluation. Now evaluation is not what we call it will be different, of course, compared to 10 years ago. Because when you evaluate people, you evaluate the behavior. Used to be, you don't evaluate the behavior, you evaluate the sales. How much sales you do. But nowadays it's different. The attitude, the style of selling things is much more detailed, much more complex now. Because a long time ago, as long as you do the sales, you are good. As long as you do the output is good, why not? But now the evaluation is much more broad, much more difficult to analyze people because it has so many characters, culture, blah, 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 blah. So many things happening. That's why the evaluation is kind of a different kind of thing now. The component of business process. This is called the limitation. Whenever you do the business process, it must have limitation. The limitation, what is the trigger? So, when you want to do business process, always you start wondering how to initiate, how to start. And then make it very hard. But once you have a business process, you try to ignore the initiation because it starts, it does. So business process is a part of the implementation. So when you do the business process, you do to eliminate what we call the doubtful. You got scared to that. No, you can do it now. You can do it because there's a business process. Number two, process must have capital. Yeah. Anything to do with what we call this process must have capital, the input. The capital, where do you get the capital? Then you got to think. So once you have an idea, you got a lot of things to think about it. How to do it, how to start, and you try to do it. The second thing is how to get the capital. Borrow the money, starting what you call, for example, if I sell jamu, I might think how to get the ginger, how to get the temulawak. I got to think about it, because this is other thing. The resources all those things, right? Number three, the output. What output do you want? Of course, everything is according to the customer needs, what the customer wants. So when you talk about the triggers, the input, the output, the timing, some customer needs, come on, do it in 1 week. Come on, do it in 1 month. And that is the timing. The timing is very important. Because wherever you do, if you make mistake, the timing is nothing. Today, I do business in coffee. That means in 10 years' time, I will do the same thing. Coffee will not be my market again. So they keep changing your market. The customer also changing. So you don't just believe that customer will be the same every day. So you talk about who wants to, Starbucks, for example. You go to the small shop, the small retailer, they got better coffee. Why should you go to Starbucks, buy maybe 10 times of the prices? You talk about 10, 15 years ago, Starbucks, no one knows Starbucks. No one knows what is going on with Starbucks. You go, the same coffee, and the coffee tastes much bitter, but people take that one. Why? When people drink coffee in Starbucks, they look at it, oh, Pak Joko, let's drink coffee in Starbucks. Let's be a good guy, right? You want to find a nice boyfriend, girlfriend, go to Starbucks. To look at a small little shop. No, nobody want to go with nice people, right? Because Starbucks mostly, they are, at least they have a money. But of course, you dress it will be nicer, go to Starbucks. How about if you go to Pak Joko shops, the one that sell only coffee, only 5,000 rupiah. People got shocked, look into it, must be a cheaper one. But the coffee is the same. Coffee is coffee. But the coffee in Starbucks, how much there? 40,000 per cup. The same, how much you buy Starbucks coffee? Never. You buy too, right? So people will like it. Because guys go to Starbucks or women go to Starbucks, they look at you. Wow, wonderful there, right? But you drink coffee a little bit, right? Because you drink too much. Then they ask me, whether you get more coffee? So the less you drink coffee, the more you can see people. Enjoy the Starbucks. It's the quality, we call it in marketing, is a product positioning. How to create market in a different kind of people. The value added is the style, the environment. People buy environment. When people buy, oh, I want to go to that big restaurant. Why? Because it's not the food, but the style, the quality of the people that really you expected. And of course, everything, the components of fees here, the cost standard, because when you talk about the fees, everything we do with the fees, everything you do must be related to cost and resources. Resources keep changing. Anything you do with the resources, because it doesn't mean that if you sell coffee, you get the same resources. Sometimes you don't have the same resources. So if I have a big competitor, what I would do, I would buy the whole thing, the natural resources that you cannot buy. So you talk about, for example, in your food. They're not making money, but they're making money what? In weeks. More money than them. So they buy not only the one that you buy, they buy the natural one. We call the resources. They get more profit from them, not the food, the market. This is just that we call the retail outlets. But the most money they make is the weeds. Galu. They are the majority that make money. So different company got different kind of style. Okay. Asli. This is the last one. Yeah. Everything to do with the company got to identify and finally is everything to do with the SOP. The need of SOP supposed to be done by each organization. Standard of procedure. It has to be. It must be. And the SOP can be different from one company to another. It has to be. It has to be the same? No, it doesn't have to be the same. Similar, yes. For example, if I make satay, they get SOP. First, take the meat, cut the meat I buy from the shops, I cut the meat, the right meat. But the recipe inside could be different. But the SOP could be the same. But the recipe could be different. A little bit, I put peanuts. A little bit, I put salt. A little bit, I put sugar. The other guy doesn't put anything. It's put same thing. The SOP could be the little bit change. Depends on the quality of the needs of the customer. If the customer needs a bit salty, then you make it a bit salty. Not you. You don't make it salty. If the customer wants salty, you make it salty. Not you, because you try a little bit. This is good this. Who buy? Not you. People buy. Or people need salty, you put salty. You go to Central Java, for example. You buy gudeg. Why so sweet? Why so sweet? Because the people are so sweet. So everyone is so sweet. When you go to East Java, the aroma is different. You buy gudeg in Surabaya. It's different from gudeg from Jogja. Why? Because Jogja people like sweet. That's why they got so many diabetes. Diabetes is crazy there. For 40% per year. You drink tea, they come with the tea and sugar. Then I want to ask, tea is with sugar. Yes, it already. It's the character of the Javanese people. When you drink tea, must be sweeter. You go to East Java, they ask you, sugar or no sugar? You go to Jakarta, usually tea, no sugar. That is the character, right? Different kind. The SOP will be a bit different. How to make tea. Because if you go to a maybe smaller village, the tea very deep. The tea is very dark. But you go to the Jakarta, maybe a little restaurant, if the tea is too dark, you wonder, it be yesterday tea. It's not today's tea. Because the lighter tea is the better, not the dark tea. So every person has his own style of needs. That's why the business could be different, but the system is the same. It's a matter of the needs of the customer. Okay, that's it. This is the principle. Everything is, when you talk about business, what is the difference between effective and efficient? What is the difference between effective and efficient? You can be efficient, but not effective. Why? You go to school, to university, on time, 8 o'clock sharp. You attend classes sharp. That is, but not effective. Why? Because effective to do with the performance, the result. So some students, they are so good, they come every day, 8 o'clock, right? They get up 5 o'clock in the afternoon. That is very efficient, but not effective. Effective is the result of the test, the exam. What's the point you do? You listen to the teacher, but your mind somewhere. That is efficient, but not effective. So in companies, the result must be effective. But in order to be effective, you got to be efficient. Yeah, this is very important. Then another one is adaptive. Anything to do in life, anything to do with business process, it must be adapted to the customer needs again. You do it not because you want it, because the needs of the customer. Number one is how to make customer happy, enjoy. Whatever you do, you talk about Singapore Airlines, for example, why they are so good. They always learn what they call the consumer behavior. I don't know whether you have learned about consumer behavior, because that's part of your living. How to make, for example, in your family, how many brothers and sisters in your family? Got 3 or 4? You got 6, 10? Family. One family, how many kids? 2, 3. How about you? 2 or 3? 4. Number 4. 4 children, right? Your mother has 4 children. Which one is the best? Between 4. The one that your mother loves so much. You? Yes, of course. Because she knows how to make the mother happy. Because whenever every morning get up, smile. That's number 1, smile. Even though you got problems, smile. Right? And once you smile, your mother happy. Then she's better look at. The mother said, that's my first child. Even though I got 4 children, you are my first child, the only child that I love. That is how to make customer happy. To begin, you can start from your family. There's some of your, maybe your family, your brother, your sister, why your mother doesn't like this guy, very naughty, hard to taste. Ask them to shower, take a shower, never take a shower. Why? Sister. So what? And the kid, so what? Whenever she asks something, no way, I'm tired, I got to do some this, I cannot do this, and then you want to do the good job, you will make first your parents happy. You fight your family, your cousin, your brother, so that your parents love you more. Once you do that, that means you already achieved the customer needs. If you can make your parents happy, then can you make someone happy. Once you make someone happy, you know what they want, right? Then you make business. You make a business plan, starting from your family. Among your family, maybe your brother and sister, maybe one guy say, maybe one kid say, I don't even talk to my mom, to my dad. So what? That's a big problem. You want to make a business plan? Very hard. To begin with, you got to be shown, to be known. So, in reality, if you want to be the best person, the best that you can do, number one, how to make your parents happy. Number one, even though they scold you, they shout at you, you keep smiling. Even though how hard you study so much, that you don't have time even to help your parents. But if you can make them happy, that is number one, that you know how to make customers. So if I fly in Singapore Airlines, for example, I can see not every stewardess smile the same. There are some people smile because they have to smile. Because they cannot smile, but because they work as a Singapore Airlines stewardess, they got to smile. So the smiling is different, it's not natural. That's it. That is the thing. How to make customer needs. Oh, I know, this is the woman that, not the real one. The real one, you fly Japan Airlines, for example. 80%, they are being taught to smile. Even they make mistake, they always say sorry. You fly maybe British Airways or Qantas, they fight with you. They look at you, so what? You know, crazy. For aviation, for them, they have the right to say something. I fly maybe once every month to the States. When I fly to American Airlines, and I will look at those stewardess. Number one, they are too old. What to see, what to look, right? Too old, if they can say nothing. Right? Number two, rude. Oh, like this is us. So what? Because they got a strong labor union to back them up. You know, to be a stewardess in the States. Sister stewardess. She finished maybe a stewardess. It's 70. 70 years old. Singapore Airlines, the oldest maybe 25. Oh, change again. Changing. Because the union is not strong. In the US, the union is very strong. You cannot just eliminate people. Once you are there, the rest of your life to become stewardess. They support you. That's why they're so good. The attitude is different. That's why Asian airlines are much different. I don't know about Garuda. I never mentioned about it. Okay, these three adaptive, dominant. That's it. This is a part of the what we call the system that I give some few explanation. I will try to explain it another one. After this, there is a retail, right? The owner buy the goods. They got the business plan, right? Then the consumer purchase basic necessity. Even the consumer, they got the business plan too. Why? They got business system because when they buy, they know how to choose. When I buy the retail shops, I know where the fruits are, right? I know where we call the drinks are. So I go every place, I know where it is. If you change it, they get confused and they will lose because the business plan within the customer and they know the prices too. So this number two, the consumer do their own things, right? And number three, the service is done by the shopkeeper, payment is made at the cashier. Even the cashier in West Dipumati, West Dili, if you go to small shops, they got their own every single day. The business process goes the same thing again and again and again. So even if they're not there, so if you are being served by someone, maybe the doctor, they'll buy less. Money could be. You go to small retail shops, if the owner is not there, they're not present there, they might say, well, I buy a little bit. But if the owner there, I buy more. This is a business process that within the customer. Then the owner controls the inventory and the storage. Even the control, some people, they never learn about the SOP, but the map is already SOP done, right? So they come to you, they know the stuff. Like when you go to your own room, if someone come and try to open your paper, everything that, you know, oh, I know someone's coming here. The same thing, the inventory is done properly, even though they don't go according to the SOP, but they have their own SOP within themselves. It's small, but once it's big, you got to do your own, you got to have an administration, you got to have paperwork, everything's done. You got the counting system, because the SOP is a must. We call it administration must be done. So the management in a small shop is within themselves. It's not being looked at, being written there. No, they do it themselves all the time. They become like a day after day after day after day, then by heart. You know, and then the cashier and the owner will calculate the buying and selling transaction on that day. Then, of course, every evening they close and they calculate first. Every day the same thing. And that gets bigger. Once it gets bigger, you cannot do it yourself. You know, it used to be my parents when they come up with cash. They enjoy calculation, they're counting money. They look again, they're counting again. Maybe 10 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours. Nowadays, paperless. No one knows about this. Everything already done by computer. Pop, pop, pop. With your phone, you can do everything by yourself, right? But a long time ago, calculate. Money, keep it. Maybe back. The bedroom, maybe keep it somewhere. That's all this. But now they keep changing it. And then evaluation is carried out. Then look at it. I don't make money. I make money. Where's the money? The cash. And they put it somewhere. They do the same thing every day. And once it's done there, they make it their own SOP. And that's why we learn from that guy, from the people. We make our own SOP from them. Not from us. From them we learn it, we teach you how to do the SOP. It's the same thing every day. So in a way, what we do now is what we have done so far. The experience is the same thing. What I teach today, it has been done so many years. But of course, we're changing it according to the IT or maybe the artificial intelligence. That is the process of the business in retail shops. So before I close, so I like to have a lot of questions, of course, you know, because today I ask people in retail, there is some kind of a program that you want to know detail how to initiate your business process, how to initiate your works. Let me know what is your problem, because your problem will be not real problem, it becomes a challenge. Once you have a challenge, that must have a solution. Problem is different from a challenge. Problem, that means there is no solution. A challenge, they must have a solution. Once you have a solution, you must have alternatives. See? So problem is negative. Challenge is positive. Once you become challenge, there's a solution. What is solution? It must have alternative. In life, anything you do. The expectation in your life, you must have alternative. Bahasa Jawanya bangsa. In cars, they got a tire. Spare tire. That's why if you have a boyfriend and girlfriend, I try to talk to you honestly. Get two boyfriend, two girlfriend. At least you got the spare parts. In case if they run away, you don't feel hurt, right? Is it true or not? I don't know. This is part of the exercise. We don't say it. Any question, let me know, then I'll try to answer it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pak Charles. I think that's something that's become the question, right? Because I think that you can say, wow, this is way back. This is the time that I don't know about it, and then Pak Charles mentioned about it. That's why this is the time to you if you want to ask something, but please go in front and yeah, that's really better because rather than give the mic to you, you can come here and give the question. Maybe
Yeah, Derek, you can have a direct
Yeah,
question first.
direct
Just easy,
answer.
you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
You see that Pak Charles said we have a production, marketing, and support, yeah, Pak?
Yes.
And then Pak Charles already shared with us about the conflict. Oh my God, this is the one group they have, the one that have
Oh, really?
a production, right? And other is about marketing. And Pak Charles said there's always conflict in there. Yeah. Okay, good. This is one question from, you can say your name and then yes, the question service.
Hi everyone, I'm Putri Tan from Majoring Informasi Systems. Can I say no question but my statement? I'm just listening to the response about my statement. One of the businessmen in Indonesia is the car department. He stopped studying and selling his car to open business. Can I say that the business knowledge that we have will lose if there no have money? I hope sir cannot ask again. Just my statement.
Statement,
Yes.
family statement.
No.
So anyone can explain it? Yes?
Shall I explain my name? Hello guys, my name is Tony Syaputra Sution. I'm from Engineering Management, especially I'm from Management Class 4. I need to explain what sister said before. I think what she said is saying what I need to say. Someone had a plan to grow a business, but he need to grow a business. They need to sell one thing that maybe it's have a big money if they used to sell their business. So they need to make a business, but they need to sell something. Maybe it's the only one thing that they have in the
Okay.
like that. Maybe.
All right. Okay. That's why you want to do business. This is I try to explain it. You want to do business. You have maybe a lot of resources, but you got to sell the resources, the whole thing, to do business, right? Is it true or not? Is it okay or not? When you look at it, is the business, I would say, feasible? Feasible. Is it feasible or not? If not feasible, how to say feasible? Have you done it before? No. Take a risk. Don't do it. Don't throw the whole thing. Don't sell all your assets. Try it first to begin with, right? Don't try to put all what you have. You sell the whole investment to do business, then you do not know what is the future. Because 80% when you do business, new business will be failure. Failure. You do not want to do failure. That's why people do a lot of franchise. They want to do better business in franchise because they think franchise business is better than to do nothing. Of course, franchise is done already. Maybe, but because, no, you talk about Kentucky Fried Chicken, for example. 10 Kentucky Fried Chicken in Jakarta. You know what Pareto? 20% take the 80%. That means Kentucky Fried Chicken. 10 outlets, only 2 take the 80% of the total sales of 10. The 8 not doing well. That is franchise business. You open a coffee shop, for example. Oh, but I see everyone open coffee shop. You think they make money? No way. 80% is a failure. So what should I do then, Pak Charles? What should I do? As a we call entrepreneur, you work first to begin with. The successful people never open their own things before they do something with others. Learn from others. Work with others. Then you learn. Oh, there are some difficulties. Because you do not know the failures. Because the new things like me, I want to open maybe a farm industry, for example. Maybe a coffee shop. I know nothing about coffee shop. But people keep saying, good, very good profit. How much investment? Should I put money in the bank with 10% or maybe 5% per annum, my interest rate? Or maybe I put the whole things? Well, if that is your money, your asset, you put the whole thing, you'll be in trouble. Do not do that. If you put only 10% of the asset, so what? Then you can survive then. But if you put the whole thing, you sell the whole thing for the sake of opening a new business. No. Don't do it. You'll be in trouble. This is to begin with. Do a little with a little, with a little. Then you get bigger. Starting from a small. Because even though you learn the knowledge, you learn how to make money from the knowledge, not the skills. Because you are today learning from the knowledge, right? You learn from the books, you learn from the lectures, you learn from me. But what I learned is the past data. I'm not learning about the future data. What I learn, what I do is from the past. So I try to expect what is going to happen maybe in the next coming 5 years, but people change. So who's doing that? The real entrepreneur to begin with. Most entrepreneurs, when they are doing the right thing, they always learn from others. They work first with others. Then they start thinking, should I work together? Should I join together? Would it be better if I join if I work by myself? You have the money, do your own. If you don't have the money, you join. But join only make problem, right? When you join, even with your family, always create problem because we got different kind of system of thinking. Are they marketing oriented? Are they financial oriented? Are they production oriented? There will be a lot of problems, challenges, right? So you have to know, I join with you within 2 years, and if you buy me or I buy you, that's to begin with. You got to think of that before you start doing. Because if you work with others, mostly there'll be a lot of confusion, problems. But then you know how to get out. So that's why I told you want to invest something, okay. But what is the say if you fail? If you fail, what would you do? If you fail, I lost money. Like you go to casino, for example, I have 1 million rupiah. I play casino, only 10,000. So what? I keep smiling, I lost, I laugh. But if I put 1 million, with 1 million, if I lost, I cry. because I lost the whole money. So you put a little bit for your exercise, it's okay. But I tell you, if you do not know what is going on, you go into it, you are going downhill, not uphill. That's to begin with. That's why entrepreneur, a good entrepreneur, must learn first from others. And then create things what to do for the next. Otherwise, you don't do it, the new things that you do not know what's happening. It's the real thing, you know.
Thank you, Fazales. Take a risk, yeah. And I just remember about the book from STD, yeah, our founder. Start small, think big, right? We ever talk about that last step, remember? Yeah, that's the thing. It's step by step, and we can handle it, not take all our resources at first, yeah. Because yeah, we have a risk, right? We need to think about the risk itself, yeah, if you want to sustain for it. That's very good. Thank you very much for the statement. That's the second one.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. My name is Muhammad Prayoga from International Relations. And my question is regarding to the statement from your statement, Doctor, about the customers, the relation with to customers. So at the beginning, we want to make the business and we do a survey or we just observe to get to know what our target customer wants. My question is, what if from the observation or survey, we get 50-50? For example, we want to make a cake store. Several customer wants to more sweet cake, but several is just normal or less. What should we do? Thank you very much.
Good idea. That means he got a good idea. He knows what the customer needs. The best. That means you got the opportunity to make money. Easy. But what happened with 50-50? You make 2. Why not? You have to make 3. Natural, no sugar, plus sugar, for example. Then color will be different, depend on the needs of the customers. That means you done a good research already. You know what the customer needs. This is very important. That means he has done a good job. Now, the second thing, what should I do? Make all. Does it cost more? No, only sugar and no sugar, for example. The color is good. Because people like to have alternative. Would you have the same shirt with your brother and sister? The same color? No way. When you were young, okay. But when you get bigger, older, no, I do not want to have the same color with my brother and sister shirt. Why? Because people got different character. People want to be shown as I'm very unusual. Would you be the same? With your brother, the same color, the same shoes, the same trousers, the same underpants? No, I want to be different. Because my name is different. If not, then why my name is different from your brother? Because we are different. Each individual is different. Then each customer is different. But in reality, the needs similar. Could be similar. Like usually when we get married, why the color is so colorful? Would you like to have an all black? No. Then it's the style, the culture. And then you already know that. That's good idea. Just go through, do it 50-50, make it okay. Then you get good result. And after that, the failure will be a little bit. Maybe there's a failure, but at least you already achieved 80% of the customer needs. It's very important to get. Very good. Then maybe at least you try. But importantly, you got to know as a PR. This is why usually if you open the shops, do it your own. Don't ask people to do it for you, right? Why? Because you want to be sure who's the owner. Because typical Indonesian, maybe in Asian countries, when you sell something, why they put the name of your name? Why they put it maybe Charles the Maison, the house of Charles. Charles Jordan, it's the owner. Any perfume you call it. Say for example, Christian Dior, it's the name of the person. So the name of the person is very important. Why all the actors change the name? Usually namanya Tuti. Nobody knows Tuti. They call it now Angelica, for example. People know Angelica. Actually, it's a Tuti from Malang, but Angelica is different. So the name brings a lot of reputation. So you got to change your name. Well, it's my parents' name, but when you sell something, make it different, make it unusual, make it unique. Why? Because people like unique things. Don't make it the same. Usually when I go shops, the retail shop, the name, you go to have a satay. Satay Pak Haji, Haji Kuli, Haji Kuli, Haji Kuli, Haji Kuli. And then nobody knows which one is the real Haji Kuli. We do not know that. And the color is the same, yellow, all yellow. Why yellow? And you get the same yellow. You don't make it red. All the seller, all men, get a woman. Very unusual, make it unique. When you do something, make it unique. Uniqueness is the most important in life. You want to be known as a nice lady, tomorrow you change red. With the shoes, they feel like this. You walk like the other way. People look at you, right? Hey, who is she? Be known. I give you an example. The real example. It's okay, this is for teaching. Sandy Uno, you know the minister, right? His mother works with me for 9 years as a PR. She said to me, she got a school in the London School of, no, he has a what we call a school, special school for men. She said to me, Charles, I teach you how to be known. How? When you come to the wedding, always come between 8 and 9. The wedding starts at 7 o'clock and never come at 7. Why? To be known. Number one. Number two, she always dress colorful. Because she's a lady, she wears high heels. What is the highest heel nowadays? 5 centimeters? Maybe they put 8 centimeters. She goes like this, even harder. You know, so I said to her, wow, it's good. And I never go inside. I wait outside. What are you doing outside? Look for VIP people. Minister, maybe. Very prominent person, maybe family. Then I follow them. I said, you do not know them? I don't know them. I said, hello, how are you? I know you yesterday. I tried to meet you yesterday. Huh? Who is she anyway? But she follows all the time. She goes to the VIP. Walk. All people waiting, right? You go line up. You see this lady, just go like this. With a high heel, red color, wonderful. Oh, all with the beautiful makeup, just showing so much. With the red lips, very strong. People know each other who she is. She come along like this. She talk. People know, oh, must be very well known because she knows this guy, you know. She didn't know that guy. Know that guy. And then she goes straight away, take pictures. All people look at her. Oh, who is this lady? Yes, we do know. PR, the best PR. And when she goes down, go down, never eat. Usually when you go to the wedding, always the other thing. And go to the other side at the corner, you sit down like this, 6 portions. Just forget the other thing, right? Reality. She said, Charles, never walk at the side. Near the table, people watch you. Don't eat. What? Say hello to everyone. Eat first before you go to the wedding. It's not worth, because go to wedding is to show to people that who you are. You don't go to wedding to eat. Eat first in your house. Meet people in the middle of the stage. We're moving around until quiet, maybe after 1 hour, then she left. Then people know who she is. That is a good PR. I tell you, how many colorful today you have. Everything is so dark here. Because you are not good PR, boss. To be known, you must good. This is color, maybe a bit flowery. Black, white, blue, blue, blue. Even the guy look at black, everything black. You go around, nobody knows you. To be known, You must show yourself. Some people are wearing a long hair, the guy, to be known, right? You go all these strange people. Why you watch TV? I watch TV with a guy with a colorful, maybe blue color, brown color hair. Then will be known. See, and she's like, look, she wants to be known. She wants to be different, right? Colorful, golden color. Even the dress is like shirt, white and blue, but still people know. That's a good PR. See, this is number one. Why? If you want to sell product, the product is you. It's not the product that you sell cakes. It's you. You got to show differently. The behavior, the style, the way you walk, the way you talk. That is a good, what we call communication. Very important. And this is number one. If you want to do a very good job, to a good entrepreneur, you must have a different kind of style of living. Either you yourself or your product, your color. You go to shops. Why the shop is so well known? Because the color is different. Right? You know that place called this one cake shop. It's a French shop. So from Bali, right? The Bali, the one that's very well known because so many shops all over the places. This is pretty well known. This color is wonderful. The food is not so nice. It's just usual. But it's time to take pictures. Then they eat. The interview the last. The meeting place. You see Starbucks. Well, the same. Color green. All over the world. Because they want to make it different from others. And that's very important. So when you do business, entrepreneur, you must be different to begin with. Good. Any questions about you? Golden color?
Thank you, Pak Charles. Yeah, the uniqueness. Remember, last time we talked about that for your product, right? And we asked you to do the product test. Remember, this is the other things to understand about your potential consumer, right? Yeah, that's why this is the time to use to know exactly about your product, the uniqueness of your product, and how you do it, running it, produce it, something like that. We do understand, maybe last time you still think about the idle one, you think something still in the clouds, but now you need to prosecute it, you need to run it, okay? That's why consider about it, okay? Consider about it. Charles already reminded so many things, yeah, when they start about the business itself. Yeah, and totally, you know, that how we style, how we wear something that will present about our product. Yeah, maybe I need to buy my hijab because I don't have a red one. Okay, one more maybe.
Okay.
Many. Okay, one by one. But yeah, you can. Sorry, you are first, and you are the second, and you are the third. Yeah, you stop with the three questions first.
Hello everyone, hello sir. My name is Sena. I'm majoring in communication. What I want to say, like you mentioned before, that the world is keep changing, and so about the people, right? Some company cannot survive at this stage, right? What do you think about the business that failed in case of like pandemic or something like that? How we survive in this era that always changing? Thank you.
Okay. So nowadays, every company doesn't mean that they can survive if they do not know what's going on within the environment. They keep changing the environment. So big companies, for example, I will talk about maybe Garuda Food, very big. The only thing about already another 2 years to do. What they produce, can you imagine? We talk about car, BMW, Toyota. They have their own style of cars 5 years to go. That means they already have what we call the idea what to make. But doesn't mean they can change it. They might change it according to the needs because the needs change so fast now due to the IP. The idea is to make it really fast enough. Everything. That if you don't adapt the environment, you lose. That means the guarantee for the big company to survive is no longer compared to 10 years ago. It can lose so easily. Just call, what we call it, today, Lippo groups. Will they survive within 5 years? We do not know. Depends on how they can adapt the environment, the political situation, the economical growth, the creativity of the people. Do you think that if the boss or the father do the good thing, the kids will follow up? Nobody knows. If they do not adapt the creativity. So it's very important to see what's going on. I don't know how much you read news every day. You know, you always got to adapt yourself to know what's going on. Because the creativity comes after you know what's going on, then you can have the ideas. If you do not know what's going on, your surrounding, how would you create something like that? So the creativity comes not only to come from your ideas, is to learn to make it better. The Japanese used to be known to make small cars. The challenge is now, the Korean cars coming. Coming so soon. The Indian will be coming. You talk about the BMW, you talk about the Jaguar, everything comes from India. So everything keeps changing so fast. So the big companies, it used to be when I talk big companies, the survival is must be longer. But no, now the small company adapts faster, they keep changing faster, because the big companies, when they want to change, it takes time, because there's so many bureaucracy, there's so many management involved, there's so many business plan, business process that cannot be changed easily, because they depend on each other. The manufacturing depends on the marketing depends on the production, so it goes together, everything. It's so easier. So, more or less, within 5 years, there'll be a lot of things coming up, not from the big companies, from the smaller companies. So what they do now in Germany, they try to split the big to become smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, so that the smaller can adapt themselves easily. Otherwise, the big one usually might lose the chances, the timing. Again, I talk about the timing, because when you do business, the most important is timing. Like today, everyone opens a coffee shop, everyone opens a cafe. Doesn't mean that in 5 years the cafe will survive. It could maybe start. So every year it keeps changing. Then you get to up to date. So today you come to see me. Maybe today is the best maybe for Starbucks, but Starbucks years. Another 5 years, no. You know what Kenangan is? The Kenangan coffee, very cheap. Now there will be a lot of competitors coming up. There's another shop called, I don't know what's the name, but it's a Kenangan coffee. Now there will be a challenge with another coffee shop too. There are so many things coming up. Because people keep changing, people want to know. So the loyalty, if I loyal to one brand, that doesn't mean that I cannot loyal to others. So the changing of loyalty is again bigger and bigger and bigger. So people do not loyal anymore. So people think about efficiency, effective. When we talk efficiency too, maybe for me it's efficient, but for her not efficient. Maybe the color is not good for me, for others. So you do a lot of research. You talk about Unilever, for example. You know, you think, what kind of soap do you take? Lux soap, or maybe Palmolive, or maybe Camille. You go to Singapore, just write Singapore, you look for Lux. P&G, Procter & Gamble is number one, not BP. Only part you go from Jakarta to Singapore. Unilever is the only manufacturer that survives only in Indonesia. You go to Singapore, you go to Malaysia, Procter & Gamble. Why? P&G is so good. P&G is pretty well known. The Unilever stay here because it's been here before the Dutch come in. So many years, maybe 100 years, strong, because you got so many varieties. So, but it doesn't mean that they will survive. They do it properly. You know, Cokes, you know, tap water, for example. You talk about tap water 10 years ago, it was the best. Now, tap water has been challenged with so many. They got Coke, got tea again. Even Coke is not getting any problem, you know, so many problems. Now you do drinks, you like juice, you can vitamin, so many combinations, so many ideas, so many things. So people keep changing. And that is the thing. People do not loyal to me. I do not go for one, I go for others. See, this is the thing. This is different. Why? Because the knowledge is everywhere. The IT, the phone you are carrying on like this is worldwide. I can call from here to Brazil, I can go to the Philippines. When I was so young, maybe at the age of 14, 15 years old, I only see black and white. I cannot even see what we call the color TV. Now, just by watching that, I can see Netflix. Watch Netflix, you can see movie, everything. That didn't happen there 10 years ago. So the ID makes it everything change. That God will keep changing too. So the survival of any company is not in. It can change anytime. Make sure that. So they got to keep changing it, the style. Not the woman and the man, but still changing. So nowadays, you go to my friend just came back from Germany, from France. You go to toilet now, man or woman. Now put man, woman, and LGBT. So I get confused, you go there, which one to go. 3, it's done by the government. So you go inside, you get confused. Men, women, LGBT. Because if they do not have LGBT, they do not go. Problem is, they complain that it is a matter of survival, the matter of chances. Never happened in my life, but it happens now. Is it a reality? It's a reality. Okay.
Thank you.
Good. Another one?
Second, yes. Yeah. And then the third is really you. Okay.
First of all, I want to say thank you for the opportunity. So let me introduce myself first. My name is Muhammad Sabarat. I'm majoring in communication science, based 2022. So in my opinion, sir, not everyone has strength of mental to run the business. So my question is, how do we have a strong mindset or mentality so we can run a business well? That's all for me. Thank you.
Mentality. Wow. This mentality. Yeah. So I want to ask you a personal question. Yeah? Maybe you can answer. What is your parent do? Business? What are your parents doing?
No, just
Employee. Okay. If you want. If your parents are entrepreneur, you become a good entrepreneur. If your parents are a farmer, you become a good farmer. Why? Environment. So everyone to do with the environment. If your parents is maybe from the armed forces, the good armed forces, why not? See, these most I'm talking about in general. You can go out of the box. Of course, you want to go out of the box. It's a challenge for you. But mostly, the attitude, the mentality is within your family. Unless you want to change your mindset. To change the mindset, there's one reason that I give you the key question, the key answer. If you get forced, there's no way for you to move. You get up. That is the real entrepreneur. But if it is a full color, so comfortable with your living, so good, the mentality is there. Soft mentality. If you are forced, you look down by your family. You are looked down by your cousin, your friends. Then I'll do it. And that's the mentality comes from. So it has been, there is no way to change the mindset if you are not forced to do it. Very hard. So here in general, people say, well, I will do it. No problem. Once they go back, they forget the whole thing. Because the environment is so nice. For example, you smoke cigarettes. You get out, cigarettes are dangerous. Yes, sir, I understand that. You get out, you still smoke. This is my life. So this is my style. to change mentality, to change the mindset is the most difficult in life. Difficult. If you're a farmer, better be good farmer. To get out is not easy, but you can get out. Just for example, my sister moved to Australia, married with Australian man. It's hard, very hard. Adaptation with all the bullet. They got headache every day with bullet. Huh? They cannot come back. They enjoy it. They lost. We call the naturally. They don't care because they love. They enjoy the environment. Me, I cannot. I will not change because the mentality is different. If they can, they live there. They depend on. If you have kids, let them stay in Africa. They become African. You let them stay in Canada. They become Canadian. But if they come back every 6 months, they become Indonesian. Why? Because we have the mentality to pull it down. But if let them stay in Africa, they become African. Because we are the product of society. Remember that. We are the product of society. Wherever you are, you become the society. So you are living within the community, then you depend on the community. Unless you get out of the community, that means you have the morality. You want to do it or not? See, it's a matter of yes or no in your life. For example, you want to open a restaurant. The mentality is there. Are you strong enough to survive? To sacrifice your time to do it there? Not a matter of, yeah, maybe I do it, maybe I don't do it. That is not the real mentality. That means you have the courage to do it. That would take a lot of willingness to change. And that takes time, takes courage, takes the whole thing in your life. Not easy. That you cannot, you can, but it's not easy. Okay.
Okay, thank you. The last question. Sorry.
Okay, thank you for this occasion. My name is Ikram Maulana and I'm from Management Class 5. And my question that I want to ask is how to overcome if our business there is trouble, conflict, or problem. Maybe one day our business has the problem because impossible, right? There is no problem or trouble in our business. And while we have to make our customer be happy, and we how to consider overall aspect in our business. Maybe you can explain based on your experience in the past, and we can learn from it. Thank you.
Okay. How to make customer happy? How to make them happy? First, you have to know what do they want. You cannot make them happy if you do not know what they want. You should know what they want, then to make them happy. For example, your mother. She likes you smiling, then you smile. She likes you cry, you cry. She likes you to pull these things, you pull the thing. Then she's happy because whatever she wants, you fulfill her needs. That's number one. Cake, for example, you want to sell cakes. They want the color brown, give the brown. So you have to ask them, what do they want to begin with? What color do they want? That's why in marketing, we do the marketing survey. The research, not the real research, just any research. You can do it. Just say, maybe an irrational research, no problem. But at least you know what do they want. Then another thing, make alternatives. How to make alternatives? In case color brown, red. They got two colors. To do business the same thing. If I fail, what would I do? Don't try to do it. I don't care. Fail, do it. Fail, do it. When you fail, you get out. You must know how to get out. Not to go deeper because my friend say, hey, how's your business? Okay, but it's pulling down. But because of prestige, of your own pride, you do not want to get out. There are many big companies that do not do a lot of what we call it. They have to get to close it, but still they do not want to close it because of their own pride. So you got to do it. You think you can do it. If you're not, just get out. To get out means that You are not making mistake, but at least you use another alternative. See, it's the same like you get married, you got the problem. Before you get married, you have to anticipate. Anticipation is important. That's why you go to school, you go to college, you learn what we call anticipation. What next? Is it possible or not? Can you do it or not? Then you learn. You ask the lecturer, can I do it or not? Then you learn it from it. Then you try to start doing it. That's why you go to college to learn alternatives, to learn the knowledge for alternatives. In case something happens, what am I supposed to do? It's very important there. Then you got to know what should I do if I make mistake. Should I get out or not? Should I get out or not? If I get out, should I do it or not? So many things you got to do in life. Not just got stuck and then think, what next? I don't know what to do. Before you do it, you anticipate. Very important there. Before you get married, you anticipate the failures. If you know, then you become much more, I would say, predicting that it will not be, if possible. If that happens, I can move to another place. There's so many things in life. It's your choices. But the more choices you have, the better you don't get stressed. Right? People get crazy because there's no alternative. People committed suicide because there's no way to other things. Right? If there are some alternatives in life, they would not keep on. Because there are so many ways to go to others. Why should I worry? The problem, if you do not have any alternatives, then you get confused, then you get upset, you get stressed, you get older because there is no solution. Because learning is to find solution. Remember that. Learning is trying to find solution. Not learning it because I want to graduate because my parents want to graduate for you, but you graduate to learn how to solve the solution, get a better solution. It's important in life. Okay? Good.
Thank you. We take one question back from the online. If from the Variansa Abu from Architecture Department, in the middle of the running process of the newly developing businesses, they are constrained from the business process component, in this case, income, and over time, it turns out that these constraints affect other components such as time components and the output of the company. So how is this the company that has just developed to be able to maintain the stability of its processes to achieve target, while on the one hand, the constraint that occur to the three principles of implementing business process? Does the company have to remain its SOP, or is there a more effective step? I think that's how to see the problems in there. It's become challenging.
It's well, anything to do with business office, of course, there's some constraint. Anything with the business process must have constraint. Anything you do with it is constraint. The constraints must be limited if you know what the customer needs. Anything to do, there's some constraint. But once you know about the customer needs, then what in time is very important. In time, they're doing the productivity more important with the productivity. So everything is related to the customer needs. If what the customer wants, the end is how to sell the products. The end is how to make money. Make money, that means they have to buy our products. In order to buy our products, we must know what they need. If you do not know the needs, if the need is timing, they need the constraint of the production. You try to eliminate the constraint. You try to find the time so that the time is limited. You try to get the time. For example, nowadays, people have manufacturing, got more problems nowadays. You know why? Because they got more fixed assets. So you do, example, you manufacture, that is a groovy manufacturing. Don't be happy if you have a manufacturing. Why? Because manufacturers are fixed costs. So what do? You sell the product, you let someone do for you, make for you. Why should I make my own? Is it harder to market or is it harder to manufacture? I ask you, in reality, is it harder to manufacture or is it harder to sell? Which one is harder, make or sell? I ask you, how many percent, if raise the hand, how many of you say it's harder to make than to sell? To make harder to make. Which one? Which one is harder to sell? Majority harder to sell. Why? You want to sell soaps? So many soaps nowadays. You want to sell super lean? So many super lean sell. Now, it's hard to sell than to make. Let someone make for you and they sell it. So nowadays, it's becoming less and less to have your own manufacturer. So what do? Let someone do it for you. The hardest is how to make, because the customers keep changing. If you have your own manufacturers and then you don't know how to sell, does it happen to make profit? So people are saying, I keep talking to achieve the customer needs. That means harder to sell than to make. Let people make for you, then you sell it. You believe that one? Which one is better? To sell or to make? To make, let someone do it. Why should you think of making? Making is edit. Once you make, you cannot sell it, what to do with it? You keep it, you take it everything by yourself? No. Have to sell. That's why I keep telling Pak Ibu, bagaimana, how to do it. I give you products. Some entrepreneurs keep saying, Pak Charles, I need modal, I need capital. I give you products, can you sell it or not? Easier? Harder than manufacture. I give you product. Noodles, for example. No name, sell it. Happen. No name. Name. Okay, any name you can just put it. Not super name. Name. Maybe my name. Sell it. Hard. Very hard. Similar. So whatever you say now, you go to the car dealer. Not to manufacture, to sell a car. Very hard. How many competitors? Competition is very hard. So selling is harder than manufacturing. I keep telling you. So definitely that the one we discussed today is the same thing. The business cycle is the same thing. When you sell, there is a system too. How to sell product, how to teach you how to sell the product. Smiling, staring, your hand keep moving, eyes keep looking. This is styling. So the communication is amazing. The real thing is communication. How to communicate. So the one that will be the next step. You talk with Pak Sangulo. The day he wakes up, the one cameraman in front of him. He eats, he drinks, everything is filmed, televised, the whole thing. Then structure, they hit the promotion. That is 24 hours. That is the guy come from, I don't know where he's come from, but he learns a lot of communication because he wants to be known. To become the president of Indonesia, you have to be known. Every time you go talk with the Rabu Putih, the Central Java, whenever he went up, there's a one circle on the reporters. 24 hours a day. They keep making story. Make up story. Communication again. So they are trying to sell him as a product. It's harder to manufacture than to sell itself. So in this time, I tell you, selling is harder than making it easy. You can make. It's true. It's true. It's fact. Because why? People keep changing. When you manufacture, you cannot keep changing. Done is done. In trouble. Because one is a fixed cost. change your fixed cost to become variable cost, not a whole fixed cost. Variable that means to depend on others for what? I can go to other things. Very important.
Thank you, Bacharis. Maybe we can give a big applause to Bacharis. And as you can see here, you need to change problem become challenge. Because once we see the challenge, we will have the alternative, right? What? It's mean the second choice that will be there. You never have like again, right? Because one is not run, you have others and go on for it. Right? That's very good. I think that's the big one that we got from Carlos and Carlos that say that because of his experience, not just saying you ask here without something that he ever had done before. Right? Okay, give us a big, very big applause to Carlos. Thank you very much. The end of our session, we do very appreciated with Carlos, and then don't forget that Carlos just already told me that he have other challenges to you, especially for your business, if you run as well, because don't forget that we will have an exhibition, right? At the end of this semester, and I will show to Pak Charles this very good business. And I think that Pak Charles will interested to give some investment to your business. What about it? Charles, right? Because we will have the exhibition, and then I will report to Pak Charles about the result. That's very good if Pak Charles is interested in him and give some investment to you. What do you think? Yeah? Good, okay. Okay, the last, we can give applause for all of us. Yeah, Pak Charles, for Robin, please. Wait a minute for a while, yeah? We need to make a report as a lecture. Biar dosennya ada semua. Ya. Okay, I think that's all for today. Thank you very much for your participation. I close. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.